Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And for this session, we're going to talk about the last topic of our lesson 4, which is harvesting and post-harvest handling of mango. So, harvesting and post-harvest handling are the critical operations in preserving the quality of fruits, and care should be emphasized in this aspect. So, we have maturity indices as important role in determining the final quality of fruits to be harvested. Only mature mangoes should be harvested to ensure better physical appearance and good quality when fully ripe, while immature fruits should exhibit a greater tendency to lose moisture, inferior quality, and lack of aroma and flavor characteristics. So, therefore, to determine fruit maturity, a combination of visual, computational, and chemical methods may be used. So, one of which is the Daffy or the days from flower induction. It is one of the most common ways and basis of determining maturity of fruits. When trees are induced to flower early in season, like in August to November, the expected harvesting dates vary from 120 to 130 Daffy. However, fruits mature earlier when induction is done late in the season, December to April, and harvesting is from 110 to 115 Daffy. Weather conditions such as temperature and light intensity are important consideration. Another one is physical attributes of the fruits as good indicator that fruits are mature for harvest. One is the flattening of the shoulder of the fullness of cheeks, the presence of bloom or powdery deposits present on the peel or skin of the matured fruits, and the formation of yellow-green color near the pedicel and yellowing of pulp or the flesh. Another method of maturity index is the flotation method. It is a procedure to determine maturity of fruits, which involves dipping of mango fruits in 1% salt solution. So those that floats are usually considered immature, while those that sink are immature. And in practice, a day before harvest, 12 fruits are randomly picked from the trees and placed in 1% salt solution, but 100 grams salt in 10-liter water. So if there are 9 fruits, or 75% are submerged in water or sinkers, so the entire fruit is ready for harvest. And lastly, to determine the total soluble solids of the fruits, um, at harvest, the fruit should have 7 to 8 degree Brix to be considered mature for harvest, while at ripe stage, fruits with lower than 15 degree Brix, total soluble solids means that these were harvested mature. Harvesting mango fruits at the proper stage of maturity should be done to avoid problems associated with moisture loss as well as shriveling of fruits. And when immature fruits are harvested, this ripen with inferior quality, lacking in aroma and flavor. The skin does not develop into full color, and the fruits are susceptible to physiological and pathological disorders. So, there are also methods of harvesting. First is hand picking, which is still the best method of harvesting fruits. In hand picking, harvester may use cutter shear to cut the pedicel of the fruit, or in the absence, the harvester should pull the fruit downward when harvesting in order that there would be a remaining pedicel on the fruit, thereby minimizing latex flow. Next is using picking pole with cutting edge and soft net or basket is recommended in harvesting matured fruits beyond reach. Most often, the harvester has to climb the tree with his pole and collect the fruits, and the harvested fruit should be placed in a small basket with linings and carefully lowered down for subsequent transfer to suitable containers. Bruising associated with improper handling should be avoided in order to maintain the good quality fruits. So this is done by harvesting only 3 to 4 fruits at a time. And baskets that carry the fruits should also be lined with newspaper, and subsequent transfer of fruit should be avoided. So harvest fruits between 9 to 3 p.m. This is done to allow the tree and fruits to dry, minimizing latex flow which causes staining of the fruit skin when fruits are harvested early in the morning. Leaving short pedicel about 2 to 5 centimeter on the fruit helps reduce and divert latex flow away from the fruit surface. And inverting fruits with pedicel down on newspaper or suitable materials also minimize latex staining of fruits. So, again, harvesting considerations include after harvest, keep the fruit bags until sorting and washing. Keep harvested fruits in shaded area and avoid contact of fruits on the ground. Collecting basket or cuttings must be lined with newspaper and do not use banana leaves or rice stalks. And lastly, the use of plastic crates lined with newspaper is encouraged. And to minimize latex stain, trim stem close to the shoulder and allow latex to drip for 20 to 30 minutes by stem and down, and dip freshly stemmed fruits in 1% alum solution. So the different post-harvest handling activities are the following. First, we have sorting, grading, and classification. And in this operation is very essential in the mango commodity system to determine the marketability of the products, of course. And these activities can be done either in the farm or packing house, manually, or through the use of mechanical sorter. Injured, undersized fruits, those that with obvious defects, should be sorted out in the farm to minimize subsequent handling of the fruits for packing. Harvested fruits are inspected and sorted as to the size and quality, whether marketable and non-marketable. Marketable fruits should be further classified into different sizes and as follows, like extra large with 375 grams or more, large with 290 to 356 gram, medium with 242 to 298 gram, small with 190 to 240 gram, and super small with 160 to 189 gram. Extra care should be considered in handling the fruits to avoid mechanical injuries, and it is also advisable to place graded fruits in suitable containers to maintain too much handlings. Fruits should not be stuck or piled on the ground to avoid contamination of the diseases, particularly fruit rot. And lastly, we have packaging as usually done in the farm after harvest for local market. However, for domestic and export market, packing is done in the packing house. And one of the most important functions of packaging is to protect and deliver the fruits to the consumer in the best condition. Good packaging, therefore, is necessary to preserve the quality of the produce. And mangoes are easily bruised or crushed, and once damaged, the rate of deterioration is increased and the shelf life is shortened. When bamboo basket or kaing is used, this should be lined with newspaper and protected with wooden planks during transport to provide protection for the fruits against compression or damage. And it varies from sizes from big ones weighing 50 kg to small sizes weighing 35 kg. Bruising and other fruit injuries are common in the fruits placed in kaing. So to minimize this problem, bamboo baskets should be lined with newsprints and other loading should be avoided. Organic materials such as rice straw, banana leaves should not be used as they may contaminate the fruit with the fungus such as aspergillus, which is easily transferable to these fruits. So use plastic crates, wooden crates, and fiber cartons as packing containers for export market. These are durable, long-lasting, and provide maximum protection for the fruits. However, these are also expensive compared to bamboo basket. And fruits intended for export are packed following the specific requirements of importing countries. In general, fruits are either placed in a cell-type box wrapped singly at 4 to 10 kilogram capacities per packaging. Fruits may also require specific treatment as needed, such as hot water treatment and vapor heat treatment. So the different post-harvest treatments to minimize infection diseases such as anthracnose and stem and rat, and to disinfect harvested fruit from insects like fruit flies. Post-harvest treatments are very important, and several importing countries also require specific treatments to kill different stages of fruit flies which might be carried during shipment. So for hot water treatment, in order to minimize infection from anthracnose and stem and rat which soon develop after harvest, hot water treatment is recommended by dipping newly harvested fruits less than 24 hours after treatment in hot water, 52 to 55 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, followed by hydrocooling in tap water for another 10 minutes prior to air drying. Hot water treatment will remove latex stain provided fruits are treated immediately after harvest. Rinse in running water for 10 minutes, air dry, and pack. And for hot water Treatment to be effective, follow the temperature requirements strictly. Temperatures below are ineffective and do not kill the fungus, while the temperatures above can cause peel scalding. So the time required for the dipping of the fruit should be strictly observed. Next, we have the modified hot treatment. So this is used to disinfect fruits from anthracnose and stem and rot. However, the amount of treatment is lesser compared sa hot water treatment. Newly harvested fruits are dipped into hot water with a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius for only 1 minute, followed by air drying, then packing. Another one is extended hot water dip treatment. Fruits for export to China are treated using extended hot water dip treatment for fruit fly disinfestation. Fruits are dipped in heated water until pulp temperature reach 46 degrees Celsius and held for 15 minutes. This is followed by air cooling for 10 minutes, hydrocooling for 30 minutes, and air drying and packing. So the total treatment time is 2 hours. Next, we have vapor heat treatment used to disinfect fruit from fruit fly eggs and larvae, and a requirement of countries like Japan, Australia, and USA. These are subject to fruits that are subject to VHT are held for 1 hour at relative humidity of less than 90% and exposed to a temperature of 46 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. The treatment normally requires 4 hours duration, and after the fruits are wrapped individually and placed in carton boxes. And lastly, we have irradiation as an alternative to VHT, but specifically designed to disinfect mango against mango seed and pulp weevils, subjecting the fruit to irradiation using 300 GY of cobalt-60. According to researchers, the use of irradiation in fruit disinfestation is rapid, convenient, and safe. However, facility is very costly. So the next post-harvest activity is ripening, especially for mango. So natural ripening of fruits at room temperature is still the best. Usually took 5 to 10 days from harvest to reach the full ripening of fruits. Mixing of ripe and unripe fruit is also a practice by the farmers even and transfer ripening. On the other hand, most retailers hasten ripening of mango fruits by placing calcium carbide at the rate of 5 to 6 kilogram per kilogram of fruit, and carbide is wrapped with newspaper and placed with the fruit in the container. However, best results are obtained by allowing the fruits to ripen naturally and have ripe stage and treat with carbide at 1.25 grams per fruit. This modification in the treatment results to complete ripening of fruits 8 days after harvest. So another very efficient but very costly is also the use of ethylene for ripening. And lastly, we have storage. Mango should be stored in an area from decaying plant waste, foul smell, and must be fully sanitized to avoid contamination. Low temperature storage can extend the shelf life of mango. However, chilling injury becomes a problem during prolonged storage. So at 12 to 14 degrees Celsius, at 85 to 95% relative humidity, the carable mango can be stored safely for 3 weeks, but an additional 5 days is required at room temperature to fully ripen the fruits. So for distant markets, the Post-Harvest Training Research Center of UPLD has developed a technology for long-term storage of fruits using the controlled atmosphere. So the packed fruits are stored in a room with 6% oxygen and 4% carbon dioxide. The temperature in the room must be maintained at 13 degrees Celsius. So controlled atmosphere could retard fruit ripening up to 28 days. Therefore, and after that, for transport, careful handling during transport of fruits is essential to minimize damage due to bumps. So it is also important not to overstock the vehicle and the fruits are covered against sunlight and unexpected rain. So for long distance travel, especially using rural facilities, refrigerated van is recommended for it is more convenient and practical. So for more information, just click the link here, and if you have questions and clarification regarding post-harvest handling of mango, you just comment on our Facebook group. So thank you very much for watching this video, and after this, I'll be posting videos of mango production and post-harvest handling. So this would be the end of our pre-final. And the deadline for your pre-final will be on November 27th. So thank you again, and Merry Christmas.